word alone can be challenging. How do we get started? Where will the change lead? Don't sit there and worry about it. Be the change. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. Host Kristina Bloom has been a professional psychic and spiritual advisor for 20 years, offering psychic and mediumship readings for individuals and groups. She also teaches several classes in psychic development and metaphysics. In addition, she is an author who has published 2 books so far and is the co-owner of Moonbow Publications and Productions, LLC. Are you ready for that change now? Here is your host of Be the Change Radio, Kristina Bloom.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Be the Change Radio. I'm your host, Kristina Bloom, and you are listening to us on WLTK-DB.com, Paranormal Talk Radio. I'm really glad to have you with us tonight. We've got a great guest, Nancy Nance. You might remember her from when we did the panel discussion. Was that like a month ago, I think already? Nancy was one of our panelists, and I'm really glad to have her back on the show. Her business is Exponential Joy, and she just exudes it. So we'll be really happy to bring Nancy out in a few minutes. I do have some announcements, some reminders, I guess. This Thursday, I am teaching DNA activation. As we're going through this ascension, and our spirits are growing really fast. And as some of you may have noticed, our bodies are having trouble catching up, right? So we're having things like headaches and fatigue and weird symptoms because our bodies don't go as quickly as our spirits do. So we can help that along with the DNA activation to repair existing DNA that's already working and activate dormant DNA to help us catch up with our spirits during this ascension process. So make sure that you join us this coming Thursday. You can find the link on my meetup page at meetup.com/spirit1. Let me try that again. meetup.com/one-spirit-connection/event/calendar. Go to the 14th, click on that, and then there's directions and how to get the link for the class once you register. And oh my gosh, it's coming up so soon already, the 21st through the 24th. The Dig Deeper Awakening to Eliminate Your Limits with Brian Kopic. We're doing a 4-day, 3.5-day retreat in Wisconsin's Northwoods at Black's Cliff Resort, and I'm so excited about it. We are going to cover so much stuff. Brian has the 4 Pillars program, and it includes, count your wins and review your direction and imagine your outcome. And there's just so much involved in that. I am contributing with empathy and soul retrieval and self-care and personal power and receiving. We have a great massage therapist who's going to be doing massage therapy for our guests. And we have an incredible Jin Shin Do practitioner who's going to come in and do acupressure for our guests as well. It's going to be great food, lodging. It's all included. All of that's included. And you can find that also on my meetup page. Same directions, only you go to the 21st. Really, really excited about that. I can't believe it's coming up this quickly. Tonight, we're going to be talking, like I said, with Nancy Nance of Exponential Joy. And the topic that she and I decided to cover is recovery from domestic violence. And we're going to talk about some other things too, but that's really our main focus tonight is once you've been in a violent relationship or you've grown up in a violent home, the recovery from that can be extensive. It can last a lifetime. We're dealing with PTSD and shame and all kinds of just leftover stuff, trust issues that can last a lifetime. And it's really something that we wanted to address, but in a way that gives hope. And so we're going to be focusing on that tonight, along with all the other really, she does such amazing work and she's just such a gifted healer. And we're going to cover all of that too. I'm going to pop up on here intermittently the website and a phone number for anyone who is in a domestic violence situation. We want you to be able to get help, and let you know that there are resources available. So I'm going to type those in as we bring Nancy out to talk with us. Hey, Nancy.
Thank you. And thank you for putting that information up there, because it's not information that we may necessarily have available. I was talking about that with a friend today, and when my experience happened, the resources weren't readily available.
Right.
The talk wasn't there. Hashtag Me Too had not begun.
Exactly.
Lorena Bobbitt was not even spoken of when I was first suffering. And when she was spoken of, my goodness, the trauma that woman went through because of the shame that was her story.
Mm-hmm.
And we all struggle with that shame.
Absolutely, we do. I too am a domestic violence survivor, and the shame is something that it just keeps coming back. It's still like the weirdest thing. It's like a boomerang. It just keeps coming back. Like when I have nightmares, my nightmares aren't like about scary things. My nightmares are about situations that come up that make me feel shame, and I wake up in the morning with that same old horrible feeling, and it's awful.
And the or else, if you speak, this is what can happen. And it's the threat. It's a threat that is so very, very powerful, because we get indoctrinated into a belief that other people will judge us, and we will judge ourselves.
Oh, much, much more harshly than probably anyone else does.
Yep.
Yeah.
We put on the facade of fine. I'm fine. I'm good. I changed the subject. I'll deflect. Those were the things that I did. And then everybody thought that I knew what was going on behind the scenes in ways that I didn't know. I definitely had the blinders on. I mean, I held on to the belief that at least he came home to me. He loved me. That was all I had to hold on to. So even though the truth was definitely there, I had to hold on to that hope.
Yeah.
So that I could survive raising my children, running my business, doing all those things that were normal, so that I could keep the illusion alive.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it was, I grew up violent. I grew up in a violent home. And so I implore anyone, if you know that your neighbor is abusing their children, do something about it, see something, say something. Don't let it slide, please. Don't let it slide. I grew up in a small town where I'm pretty sure everybody knew what was going on in my home, and nobody did anything to help.
Yeah.
Don't let that happen to other people. Don't let that happen to other kids. Please.
It's atrocious how much we let things slide. And I mean, it's like the frog analogy, where the heat gets turned up just a little bit at a time. And you don't even know water is boiling. You don't realize that the person that you're with brought into the relationship something from their past.
Yeah.
They've already had a child or two, and then one more child, just to make everything better. And then you feel as though you're trapped, whether that abuse is physical or mental. Perhaps it's an economic abuse. That's one that we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that one. Let's make sure that everyone listening to this understands that there is such a thing as economic abuse.
Yeah, that's a big one.
If someone is controlling you, I'm looking right into the camera now. If someone is controlling you with money, you are being abused.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't
Yeah.
have the ability to be able to take the money and run,
Yeah.
then you are being economically abused.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the money is a form of energy.
It
And I
is.
always talk about an equal exchange of energy. Marriage relationships, they're not 50-50. They're 70-30, they're 60-40, they're 90-10. But in the end, it needs to be an equal partnership. And that partnership needs to be soul, body, and mind.
Yes.
Relationship is a spiritual connection, and that person needs to honor you for the gift that you are, because you are a gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's like, I also want to point out, it's not just women who are abused, men are abused too.
Mm, much more than we talk about.
Oh, a
Much, much
lot more than we talk about. Yeah. So, you know, bringing this to light, and a lot of times, I mean, men are physically abused too, but very often men are more mentally abused.
oh, so much so,
Yeah.
so much so, and then by their peers.
Hmm.
You know, if men would learn to allow that space for that conversation, so much would change. And there are spaces for it more and more, but within
Yes.
the family, brother to brother, let's talk
Yeah.
about those things, friend to
Yes.
friend, because the idea that men shouldn't cry is just asinine.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree. If men felt more able, more free to be able to express their emotions,
Yeah.
there'd be a whole lot less violence in this world, in my opinion,
Oh my gosh.
you
I
know?
remember the first time I heard the phrase, don't be such a Nancy. My
Oh
sons
my
were playing
goodness.
football, and one of the coaches called out to another kid, "Don't be such a Nancy." And I'm like, "What was that? What do you mean, don't be such a Nancy? My name is Nancy. What is that?" You know, like, it was just like, "What?" And we do that. Don't be such a Karen. We use so many. I'm going to adjust these lights because it looks like I'm in prison.
It kind of does, yeah.
We don't need that. There we go. Let's shine some light on it. I avoided prison. Right? And that's where when we feel as though we are being or our power and control is being taken from us, we can often start having those thoughts about how do I get out of this? And you
Yes.
know that you're in a battered relationship when abuse repeats.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be black and blue. It's a repeated offense on you.
Yes.
And it, for me, so much of it was on my spirituality. And that was something that was so hard because spirituality was something that I grew up with. I grew up in a very, very fundamentally religious family full of love. So I was looking for that. And my pattern was of abuse, different kinds of abuse. My pattern was addiction. Those were the soul contracts that I came into this world with.
Right.
And as each one grew, I mean, I didn't realize that being in my first marriage, I've been married twice. I'm engaged now, but my first marriage was to a drug dealer. I didn't know that that was part of my soul contract. I didn't realize
Okay.
that.
So stop and explain soul contract, because our listeners might not understand what that is.
Okay, so we sign up for this life. We have a bus stop conversation when we're in the spirit world, and we decide what lessons we come down here for. So with me, my one of my lessons was that of abuse, self-abuse, abuse from others. So I entered into contracts with others. They would be the abuser. I would be the abused. And it started with me as a child. I was in a wonderful family. My parents were amazing, but there was that boogeyman who was real in my life. And that was a character in my story. Took me a long time to understand that they were a character in the story, that they had volunteered to do harm to me, and that I had volunteered to have harm done to me. Because so often we blame God. How would a just God do this? Well, you can't learn math if you don't sign up for it.
Right.
Didn't say it was going to be easy. But if you understand that your challenges give you choices, then you can take back your power and control so that you don't do things that can cause harm to others in your own healing and awakening.
Right.
And that's something that the 12 steps teaches. There's so many parallels. Like the 12 steps and the serenity prayer is similar to Reiki. And
it is.
It's so amazing. Just for today,
Right.
I will not be angry. I will be peaceful. Try that for a day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm there with you. I mean, I'm a long time 12-stepper too, right? So I completely understand what you're saying. And the 12 steps, I believe, were divinely guided. I believe that they were given to Bill and Bob. And, I really believe that there is when I grew up, I felt like everybody else had like some instruction manual for life that I somehow didn't get.
Mm-hmm. So true.
When I got into the 12 steps, boom, there's the instruction manual.
Oh, it's wonderful. And I went into the 12 steps being a massive codependent because I thought as long as I could fix my addict, that everything would be okay. And then I realized that I had to work on myself. And it was through codependency, addiction to cocaine, addiction to crack, that I learned so much about my own strengths and the infinite support of having people that are willing to go with you through the process and allow you to go through it by yourself. One common denominator, that's you.
Exactly. And, I have a lot of conversations with spiritual people. I mean, every week I'm having a conversation with another spiritual person here, but out in my life, I do too. And I am amazed at how many of us who do this type of work are recovering addicts in one way or another, whether it's alcohol or cocaine or whatever it is.
It could be shopping. It could be work. I mean, I don't think that there is a single person that's watching this.
Right.
That cannot, if they stay in that space long enough, not realize that there was some addiction that they have suffered with or are suffering with. And it's a pattern. And once you understand the pattern, then you can choose other ways of being healthy.
Exactly. I have a friend who always said, I don't care if it's chocolate cake. If you're hiding in the closet eating it, it's an addiction.
That's so true. That's so true. And yet it's the shame that keeps us in the closet. It's the shame that keeps us in the shadows. And when I stopped shooting myself, that's when so many things changed, because I realized that I can make changes. I must stay the course and be willing to go through the obstacle. I mean, life is like an obstacle course. It really is. I have yet to have one perfect day. I've had wonderful, magical moments, great moments, but there's always something. I mean, yesterday when we came home from the grocery store, we'd lost an entire bag that had a sausage in it. It was insane. Where is the sausage? And we looked everywhere. When I pulled my vehicle out, I didn't even see it. When I drove back in to park my vehicle, there was the bag. It was right there. But
that sounds like my life. We're going to take a quick break, Nancy, and we'll be back in about a minute. Thanks.
You're welcome.
deeper awakening to eliminate your limits. Two world-class coaches come together for a retreat in Wisconsin's beautiful North Woods. Meet Kristina Bloom, Spiritual Advisor. Kristina's extensive experience in helping her clients with spiritual growth and deep emotional healing comes together with Brian Kopic's proven 4-pillar system to eliminate your limits. With their combined expertise, Brian and Kristina will guide you through a weekend journey to transform your life to achieve both physical and spiritual balance. Save the dates, April 21st through 24th. Held at Black's Cliff Resort in Hazelhurst, Wisconsin, a premier resort in Wisconsin's beautiful North Woods. For more information, email Kristina at KristinaBloom.com. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to WLTK-DB.com. This is Be the Change Radio. I'm here with Nancy Nance from Exponential Joy, and we are talking about addiction and recovery and domestic violence and recovery from that. And we just really want everyone to know that there is help out there. There is help out there for alcoholism, for addiction, for everything. So get us a hold of us. We'll give you resources. I can also give you the 800 number for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's in my phone. I have it in my phone because when I travel, sometimes I want to stop and go to a meeting. So I will just pull over, call that number and say, just look up where's the closest meeting to where I am right now. And it's amazing. I've done it across the country, across the United States. I know you're in Canada, but I'm sure Canada has a similar thing.
It's everywhere. I know people that go on vacation and still go to meetings.
Yeah,
what a
absolutely.
powerful place to be where you can make that choice. Because when we want to be in a life that's a better feeling place, that's what recovery is. I want to recover my life and take back what it is that I had or maybe never had. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to become the dreamer. It's not necessarily possible for everybody.
Right.
But yet it is when you connect with people who will share their time, who will share their knowledge and their resources. And that's the beauty of collaboration. It's wonderful. It's what gave me the opportunity to first voice through the written word.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That wasn't part of my plan. I was pulled into the world of writing like a cat into a bathtub. I was like, no, thanks, but no.
That's interesting because I was completely the opposite. From the time I was in, I don't know, second or third grade, all I wanted to see was my name on the cover of a book.
Oh, wonderful. I wanted that. But after Emily passed away, I didn't want to talk about it. And it was a friend who suggested that I just try. And she suggested again and again. And then came the chapter called In Heaven. What a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah.
What a beautiful opportunity. And there have been me since then. So I am very blessed. Very blessed. Yeah.
Yes. You've been in a number of books, right? You've been a contributing author in a number of books now, haven't you?
I just finished my chapter for the 9th book.
Wow.
Yeah, for the 9th book. So I started off with the Sacred Hearts Rising anthology. So I'm in the 2nd volume. That's the chapter In Heaven. And then the 4th volume, which is called The Courage to Heal, where I speak about domestic abuse in that one, as well as many other things. It's a journey through different layers and levels, and it's not just one path that we take. There are many. And writing for me it's my absolute soul's calling. I love to write. And as I commit to writing my memoir this year. That's beautiful. And it's one of many memoirs because my story has many, many layers.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many. I mean, there isn't one. I can't just talk about the death of my daughter without talking about forgiveness or finding love. It's an interesting journey, the one that I've been on. And I was not the best possible version of myself when I was struggling with abuse. I mean, I did naughty things. I never did anything that was harmful to another, but in having a tumultuous relationship, I was definitely not the best possible version of myself. My kids called me Helga.
Oh my.
That's what it was, Helga. I mean, that's just that was just a fact. I mean, my sons, they're now in their 20s and 30s, and their friends are my friends. Many of them are my clients, and they tell them, well, they say, you know, we were more afraid of you than our own parents. But that was the, you know, the inside that would come out, because when we're angry, that anger doesn't show up at the right opportune moment.
No, it does not. It comes out often sideways and at the wrong people.
Yes, yes, it really
Yes.
does. It really
Yeah.
does. And then we victimize others as we are being victimized. That's the pattern of abuse.
Yes.
It
You
really
know, I really don't think that anyone can be in that type of a relationship, in either role in that type of the relationship, and be the best possible version of themselves,
no.
because it's such a dysfunctional situation that
Yes.
there, you know, there's no way for anyone to be their absolute best
No,
in that situation.
no. And then as we continue in our growth, I have two beautiful granddaughters. My ex-husband is their grandfather. So is my fiance. They call him Papa Poopa. That's because he calls the girls Poopa, and I thought he was talking about poop, but it means doll. A pupa is a doll in Italian. I just learned that recently. So
Oh,
I didn't know, right? I thought he was just calling her a little poop, which you're 2 years old. You tend to do things that are, you know, not necessarily going to make everybody happy. But
right.
that's two. Two is a beautiful age. It really.
And kids all think poop is funny. So.
Oh, they do. Poop is funny. we take poop way too seriously.
Oh,
Way
totally.
too seriously. Yeah. I mean, there's a poop emoji. There's a poop emoji. I mean, it's
Yes.
smiling. And that's where, if we can find the childlike love in our life again, that is the reflection of joy. It's hopscotch.
Absolutely, yes.
It's hopscotch. It's doing the things that delight you, and the things that delight you can become your dream.
Without a doubt. I completely believe, I mean, I've seen that as evidence in my own life several times, and in the lives of other people I know too.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
So much. It's why workshops are fun, not just for the people that go to them, but for the people that facilitate it. It's a lot of fun putting together a workshop.
Right.
It really
and retreats. I mean, like, retreats are one of my favorite things to do.
Yes.
Because even though I'm the one doing the work, it's a retreat for me too.
Oh, so much so. I was blessed with participating in retreats a couple years ago, whereby I brought my essential oil blends and my reflexology. I brought to that retreat. And I love all of the different healing modalities that I can use with people, because then it's your comfort zone that's honored.
Yes. I love that. I really wish that I lived closer to you, because I would love to come to you and just experience what you do. I would love to do that. I do want to get back to, and this might sound weird, but when I was in treatment for my addictions, and they kept bringing up the word shame, and I didn't know what they were talking about because it was so deeply embedded. I didn't know there was a name for it, and I couldn't identify it.
I
Can
had
you?
I had no names for any feelings. I
Right.
could not name an emotion. It's deeper than guilt, because when you feel guilty for something, you know what it is, and you
Yes.
know that you've done wrong. But when wrong has been done to you and you hide that truth from others, it's something that you bury so deep inside yourself that it often becomes subconscious.
Yes.
We don't
It
remember
does.
the rape. We don't remember the molestation. And that's where, when I began to go through my trauma triggers, they were fierce. The first trauma triggers I went through were, of course, from the tragic death of my daughter. And then as I worked through that, more of my subconscious shames were coming out. And I
Mhm.
didn't know what they were. So I, like many, reached out to others for support. And when I went to a clinical hypnotherapist, because I was struggling with the fear of driving, it was a
Okay.
strange fear that I had when I was driving through the mountains. And when I landed on the other side of the mountains, I called a friend because she had had someone who helped her. And I'm like, I can't make it home. I need to talk to somebody. And she helped me move back through my life, through many, many fears that were
Mhm.
buried, and shames that were buried deep. So,
Yeah.
and clinical psychology really helped me. And it helped me open up to my gifts, because my gifts were something that got buried with my shame.
Right. I have heard it said that guilt is when you feel bad about something you've done, and shame is when you feel bad about who you are.
Oh, so much.
Yeah, and
So
I
much.
really wanted to define that because some people listening might not understand what shame is, because when you go through your whole life and you just feel bad about your own existence,
Oh, yeah.
you don't really understand that that's what shame is. That's what shame feels like.
Oh, and that's exactly it, especially when you put on the illusion that you're good. When you
Yeah.
build that story that everything is fine, and you still go to church on Sunday, and you make
Mhm.
sure that the kids go to school and everybody's happy, and inside you are not. And when the kids go to bed, that's when the real trauma starts,
Yeah.
because then you get belittled because of something that you've done or something that you haven't done. It's
Or something someone else thinks you did, whether you did it or not.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, because when you go through the domestic abuse cycle, there is that going back to, well, I wouldn't be like this if you didn't drive me to it.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, everything she just said, that's a lie.
Oh,
You
it is a
cannot
lie.
drive someone else to
No,
treat you poorly.
no, and you
That's their
can't make
choice.
anybody feel anything either.
Right.
There's a buy-in to those feelings, but when you buy into the feelings over and over and keep on smothering your own flame for someone else's fire,
Mhm.
it will consume you.
Right.
It will
It
absolutely,
will.
it will consume you until a point whereby the sadness becomes just your way of being. And I was sad for a very, very long time, that I didn't even understand I was depressed. It was just sadness. I remember the first time that someone asked me what I wanted to do with the rest of my day, and I listed what it was that I had to do. And she asked me again what I wanted to do, and I had no idea. No
I
idea.
remember when I left my first marriage, and I hadn't had any control over anything in my household. Nothing. I went to buy shampoo and I stood in Walgreens shampoo aisle 45 minutes. I didn't know how to buy my own shampoo. I had turned over my life to that point, at that point, to someone who took complete control of every aspect of my life.
Oh, so much so, and it's the
Yeah.
little things like, "You're not gonna wear that, are you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am, right? Like, when did we give up our right to choose what we wear, to choose how we speak, to choose the friends that we spend time with? And that was one of the things that happened to me is I stopped spending time with my friends.
Yeah. Same here. I got cut off from friends, from family.
And it was the
It,
shame, and it was the shame
yes.
of their behavior. I couldn't bring that around my friends or my family.
Yep.
So I became a part of his life and I gave up mine. So then when I went through separation and divorce, that was hard because I lost my family, my new family, and my
Yeah.
old family, and I had to reconnect. I had to build new friendships, and my life is a million times better now. A
Mine
million
too.
times. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's so interesting how so many of us have such similar experiences. I mean, the individual experiences might be different, but overall, we have very similar experiences. For those of us who step up to help other people, I don't know anybody who goes into a helping field who didn't have some sort of trauma
Oh,
that drove them to it.
most definitely. And I mean, I began my walk into understanding the human mind and psychology. And I studied psychology for 3 years so that I could take abnormal psychology. And once I got to abnormal psychology, I just went, great. That's what I signed up for. And then I took the psychology and applied it to myself, and then started looking at more of a soul care experience. But I like the psychology understanding.
Yes.
Having both is a blessing. It really, truly is. But I do know why the soul part calls out to me, because when I say that I feel other people's feelings, my clairs are everything. I smell what it is that you smell. I feel it. I taste it. It's
Yeah.
all of it, and it's in a very compassionate way. It's as though I'm a part of that experience.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah. It is. It is very special. Yeah,
And
I
it
agree.
involves a lot of self-care.
Hmm.
There isn't a day that I don't practice self-care because I need to work on me so that I can work with other people to help guide them so that they can recover.
Right. Well, let's give some examples of self-care. What do you do for self-care every day?
Oh my goodness, morning meditation is a must. And when I say meditation, that means that I sit alone, focusing on my breath, communing with whatever messages it is that spirit has for me. But my mind needs to be quiet to get to that point. And
Yeah.
that took years and years. That's why I created guided meditations, because I couldn't I couldn't meditate without being guided. And then I began teaching more and more of that guided meditation. It's taking that quiet time in the morning without any electronics. It's savoring a shower every single day. If I don't shower, I mean, unless I'm camping, but if I don't shower, I know that I'm going down that self-destructive path towards depression. Big,
That's a very good point.
yeah, big indication if I don't shower. Huge,
Yeah.
huge.
I can completely see that. And I know that when I'm in the shower, I meditate in the shower. So,
Mhm.
for as it's washing over me, it's washing through me and cleaning out all the gunk and filling me with love and joy and happiness and
Yeah, and then you eventually
prosperity
pull
and
the plug and you let
yeah.
go of everything that doesn't serve you. Because
Yep,
if you think about that, what in your day doesn't serve you?
exactly.
Wow. Big, big eye opener. Big eye
It
opener.
really is, and the not pouring from an empty cup. You know, I mean, I spent years trying to pour from an empty cup, and everyone suffered in my life because of it.
Well, I mean, heck,
Yeah.
take the empty cup away, and when you're starting to lick from the saucer,
Yeah.
right? Like you're literally trying to get around the edge of the cup, right? There ain't nothing in the cup. Cup is empty.
Yeah.
It's got a hole in it, like it's got a crack, and you're just trying to lick from the saucer. And then you don't have the opportunity to savor the moments. And if you don't savor the moments, when you look back on the life that you had with a person, you will regret the time not spent, because we have one thing in common: we will all die.
Yeah.
And so will those around us potentially. So when you savor the moments with your family and your friends and yourself, then wow, there's a beauty.
There truly is.
Yeah.
There truly, truly is. Yeah, absolutely. I know that when I get to, like, I felt so good after we had that panel.
Oh my gosh, so much fun, right?
That was so much fun. I'm gonna have to do more of those. I will just I will have to do more of those,
The panels
because
are
it was so much fun having all of you guys on together, and it flowed so well.
it
And
did.
I was actually amazed, because we didn't practice any of that. It was just
Well, and I
divine
think
guidance.
and definitely divine guidance. And that's when you know that you've found your soul connections with people. When you do flow so fabulously together, it's like you know all the dance steps.
Yeah.
It's really neat. It really, really is.
It
Yeah.
really, really is. And you know, it's like sometimes I get frustrated because I'm not fully where I want to be, but of course I'm still here. So of course I'm not fully where I want to be, because
Yeah.
it's always a growing thing. But when I take a look back at my past, and I can look back and go, wow, I'm not there anymore.
It really is quite amazing, because as
Yeah.
you grow, you will get more opportunities to grow more. And that doesn't necessarily look all pretty. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off, and you will bleed, you will hurt. The people who you think you have healed from may come back into your life, but you have another opportunity with how you are going to deal with that. And I learned the importance of that by understanding the meaning of my name. Nancy means grace. And I had to become that, because I wasn't. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop being bold or sassy or anything else, but I will not intentionally do harm to another. But I will stay in my power at the same time. Sometimes saying nothing is very powerful.
Sometimes it is. You know, it's a no contact means no contact. And that was something that I had to learn in an abusive relationship. Was, doesn't matter what buttons are pushed, I'm not responding.
Absolutely.
And not responding was one of the hardest things I ever had to learn how to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or
Yeah.
responding in a way that is just no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And no is a complete sentence.
it really is. It really is. It really is. You know,
It
and
took me a long time to learn that.
oh my goodness, and that's where sometimes we can bring in those subtle little movements whereby, you know, we're not saying anything at all, but we're saying everything that we need to in that moment.
Yes.
And it's very powerful, and you can do those things, especially when you're on the other end of a phone, where you can hang up.
Yeah.
You can call for help.
Yes.
And sometimes it's reaching out to a stranger that seems so hard, but that may just be the person that you need.
Right. And honestly, for me, sometimes it was easier to reach out to a stranger than it was to someone who knew both of us.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I could reach out to a stranger and I felt safer that way.
Well, because then you're meeting someone who doesn't have an agenda, except
Yes.
for the agenda of helping.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there are many of us that are trained in things like critical response, so that when there is a disaster, we know what to say and what to do. That doesn't mean that we're going to counsel. That may mean a support whereby we are able to offer the support, the acknowledgement, and find the effective resources.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we're trained in what we're trained in, right? And why we continue training.
True.
Yeah.
True. And you know, that's something else that I don't think that we talk about a lot in this field, you know, of spiritual helpers and healers, is that we don't talk about the fact that we are constantly doing more training.
Oh,
We
I
are
just
constantly
trained.
learning more.
I just trained in something that's called the SAFER model. And that is what helps me with critical incident response, because as we are continuing in the mental health crisis, there will be more and more disasters in this world. There just will be. There will be floods, there will be fires, there will be car accidents. And to have the ability to know what to say and how to find those resources. My phone is like yours. And I will find somebody who can help you. It may not be me, but I will find you the resources that you need. I will.
Yes. I have a list of resource people that I can refer to, you know, where because I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, but I have resources for therapists and doctors and safe houses and, you know, mental health facilities if necessary. And, you know, so I have all of those resources and including people like massage therapists, because I'm not a massage therapist, and people who do physical therapy and people who do all kinds of stuff. I have a resource list because I know that I'm not the answer for everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
I mean, if I'm in a situation whereby I need someone that's a stop the bleed specialist, I've got him on my phone.
Right.
And he's in America. That doesn't mean that he can't help me when I'm in Canada if that is the person whose spirit brings to my mind.
Exactly.
And when your mind is quiet, more quiet, quieter, then those people will come into your mind's eye.
Yeah, they will.
And I mean, how many of us cannot give a phone number if we're in an emergency? Whose number can you give? So important.
It really is. It really is. And I don't know, I've not had I've only been to Canada a couple of times, but I have not had the experience of needing to call emergency. Is it 911 in Canada?
It is 911 in Canada.
Okay.
It's 911 here as well. And, you know, there are so many wonderful ways. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it the 3 fingers that you hold up if you're in a situation?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And I mean, if it's not 3 and it's 4, try 4, go 3, go back, go forth.
Yeah.
You know, try something. Write that note.
Yes.
Leave it in the bathroom. Try.
Yeah. I know in a lot of restaurants and bars in the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or so years, at least here where I live, there's, you know, even in the gas stations, there's a sheet on the wall that says, you know, here's a resource number if you're being trafficked, and here is a resource number if you're being abused, and you know, if in bars they even have, if you are on a date and not feeling safe, come up to the bar and order this particular drink. We will help you.
Yeah.
And oh, I got goosebumps.
And it's definitely fearful, but the courage is within you
to reach out.
It is. It's right in here. It's right in here. And here you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I can't believe it's already 10 minutes till.
I know.
This is crazy. It's gone so fast. But I feel like we've shared a lot of really good information. And I like to try to end the show with a guided meditation. Do you have one you would like to share, or would you like me to do it?
I would love to share. Oh, I will
Awesome.
share. I share
Yeah.
meditations every morning in Clubhouse, another opportunity where I bridge the gap. So I ask everyone to close their eyes.
Just don't leave any big gaps of space of silence, because radio silence is apparently not a good thing.
Okay. So close your
All
eyes,
right.
focus on your breath, allow your heart to soften and your shoulders to soften. Allow your eyes to soften. Feel the breath. Trust that with each exhale, there will be an inhale. Know that the heart that beats within you loves you and honors you. All of the love that you need is available inside of you and outside of you. The beauty that beats your heart is the beauty that beats the hearts of those you love and those that love you. Placing your hands on your heart to remind yourself of your amazing. Wrap your arms around your shoulders and give yourself a great big hug. Remind yourself of how much you are valued. Open up your eyes, look at the world around you, and see the possibility that's right in front of you.
That's
So
beautiful. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Next week, we have Bridget O'Michaels coming back. She was also part of the panel that you were on, and I'm very excited.
I'm glowing because she was just at a workshop that I did not last Sunday, the Sunday before. She was part of that. So just glowing.
Oh.
I love when I recognize the names. It's like she was there. It's just so cool. It's so cool because the virtual world is part of the world that I live in. I love doing live workshops, and then I love offering those workshops virtually and having the breakout rooms and all those fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I am grateful for the internet because it has opened my world.
Yeah, it has. It has.
So much. I mean, I wouldn't know you if it wasn't for the internet.
Right? It's incredible. I look at the world around me and the possibilities ahead of me. I'm looking forward to coming to America. I feel like Eddie Murphy coming to America. I might have that much fun. I don't know. But the opportunity as our world continues to evolve and open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's what I expect. And that's how I will create my world.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, if you or someone you know is in a domestic violence situation, the website is www.hotline.org. And the phone number is 800-799-SAFE. That's 800-799-7233. So please reach out if you can be of help to someone else, or if you need help for yourself.
Put that number in your phone. You'll never know when you need it or someone else will need it.
Absolutely. And it has been just amazing having you here. I love your energy. Like, I just want to get in my car and drive north until I find you.
We'll meet halfway. We'll meet in Tijuana.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, let's do that.
Right? That's not halfway. I'm going
That's
way
not
too
halfway.
But you know what? I love Mexico so much. It's just one of my heart's callings, and I will mañana, tomorrow, one day soon. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share? We have a few minutes left.
Well, I love the opportunity that we have when we honestly evaluate our lives It's through honest evaluation that we can acknowledge what it is that we've been avoiding. Because the dance with avoidance, it's like a tango. You take 2 steps forward, you take 1 step back. It can be the simplest things that you're avoiding. It could be avoiding that conversation. It could be avoiding trying something that you've never tried before. We all go through that same pattern. It's avoidance. We stay where we are comfortable. And that is stagnation. And worse than stagnation is going backwards. And when you keep on returning to a situation over and over again, that causes you to feel less than wonderful. It's a form of self-abuse too.
Right. And that doesn't, going back to the same situation doesn't always mean going back to the same person.
No, it doesn't.
You know, I mean, I'm sure that I was in several relationships with the same guy with a different face.
Yeah. Yep. It's very, very true. And when you figure out what you don't want, if you take that list, you can write what you do want.
Exactly. Nancy, what is your contact information for someone who might want to take advantage of your services?
Oh, Exponential Joy, Recover Your Joy. They're both out there. Recover Your Joy is on YouTube if you want to see a little bit more of me. My direct phone number is 780-818-5137. If I don't answer, it's because I may not recognize your number, so send me a message. It's a wonderful place when you feel safe to give your number out.
Yeah.
It really, truly is. And I mean, hey, you might be CRA calling again, though you're not CRA and you're, the tax department, because we all get those phone calls. But when I answer the phone and I'm like, hello, sunshine, they hang up.
Good tip.
Oh my God.
Good tip. Thank you. I like that. That's awesome.
It works. Sparkle sunshine wherever you go. And when you get a package from me, which you will be getting, you'll see sparkles in it. I sparkle bomb you. You'll get that soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't open
God
it up
love
in your
the sparkles.
car. If you open it up in your car, it'll go into your air intake and it'll be everywhere forever. But
noted. Thank you.
That did that, and she's like, "You're still with me every day." I'm like, it's like.
That's awesome. Got to bring the sparkles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy, so much for joining us this evening. I really enjoyed our conversation. And I know we hit some pretty tough subjects, but when you bring joy to everything that you do, you can be helpful and hit the tough subjects and still walk away feeling good, and hopefully everyone else who listened feeling good as well.
I hope so. I hope I gave somebody hope as to what it can look like on the other side.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Yeah. Great. Again, thank you so much. And we'll be in touch again soon.
Good. I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.